Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another special edition of the Micron Show. We have with us Shotgun Willie Simmons, head football coach of the Prairie View A&M University Panthers. They take care of business in San Antonio, Texas, over Incarnate Word by the score of 42-28. Coach, welcome and congratulations, sir.
Thank you. Pleasure to be on.
Okay, look, man, you go in there. You had another strong performance by Nico Hollis, man. This guy's turning out to be the real deal, man.
Well, you know what? He's playing really good football right now, and had the fortune to get a healthy receiving core back probably for the first time all season. So Darius Floyd had a career day, 11 catches for 138 yards and two touchdowns, or two touchdowns rather. Kadell Hodge had another big day, 6 catches for 87 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Josh Simmons had some big catches for him. So, it makes it a lot easier when you have a receiving core, senior receiving core, that's as talented as those guys are, and they're finally healthy, but he did a good job of managing the game, I thought, handling being on the road, jumping up and having to, fight back after letting them tie the game up at 28. So he grew up a lot tonight, and I thought he had a really good performance, and he's continuing to show why he's going to be one of the best players in the country in the short future.
Absolutely, and he couldn't do anything but increase his stock. Last week he had received Newcomer of the Year with the numbers that he put up against the FCS Southland opponent. I'm pretty interested to find out where he'll end up when it comes to naming the results for this upcoming week. Now, you had another solid run game, but let's talk about Kadell Hodge. Man, this kid, I call him a kid because they're all so young compared to me. He has 12 touchdowns in 6 games, bro.
Well, he's finally had a full season of being healthy. Last season he was nursing a high ankle sprain and a sprained knee after getting injured the third game of the year against Alabama A&M. But when he got hurt last year, at that point, he had already, I think, scored 4 touchdowns in 2.5 games. So he's a touchdown machine. He just finds a way to get to the end zone. Again, had 2 more touchdowns yesterday to increase his conference lead to 12 now. And again, he's playing at a very high level. And I think he kind of sees the NFL on the horizon. So he's trying to do everything in his power to show the scouts everything they need from him to give him a shot at the next level. But very, very happy for the kid. Again, I call him Kid too. That's my nickname for him. Because again, just a hard-working young man that comes to work every single day, never complains, always has a smile on his face, and just good to see him have the type of success he's had. And I think he's probably benefited the most from the change at quarterback from Lavelle to Nico.
Well, with that being said, Coach, it's obvious that something has awakened the offensive unit. And do you think it was just simply that change at the quarterback position, or do you just think it was just these guys finally putting all the things on one page and say, let's go from here?
Well, I think it's a combination of all those things. I think the change at quarterback, Nico's making good decisions, and this offense is predicated on the quarterback making good decisions. It's a read option offense. So whether it's RPOs, where he has the ability to hand the ball off or throw it, whether it's a check system where he's checking a certain play based on what type of front the defensive line is giving us, or whether it's just getting us into the right protections and getting the ball to the right places. When he plays well from that position, it makes everything go. It masks a lot of deficiencies that we may have up front with the young guys that we're playing and the injuries that we faced all season. Again, it's masked some of the injuries we've had out wide with Josh Simmons and Darius Floyd being injured during the year. Cam Smith, our starting tight end at the beginning of the season, is out for the year with the wrist, with the torn ligament in his wrist. And so again, when the quarterback plays well, it really allows the offense to kind of settle into a groove. Well, our third down percentage is really good. Our red zone percentage has gone up tremendously since he's taken over. And it's just allowing us to be a lot more efficient on that side of the ball. And so I think a lot of it's attributed to him, but also just those guys really starting to realize how good we can be on that side of the ball week in and week out.
Now, Coach, we're speaking, I want to let people know we're speaking with Coach Shotgun Willie Simmons of the Prairie View A&M University Panthers. Panthers go to San Antonio, take care of the Southland opponent, Incarnate Word, defeat them soundly by the score of 42-28. Now, as I was watching this game unfold, Coach, it's no secret that the second quarter has been a nightmare, and we almost had a nightmare relapse just in this game that just passed as well. What's going on with these second quarters? I might make an amendment that we don't even play second quarter. Just have one quarter, then go to the third. How about that?
Well, you know what? Turnovers, and then big plays given up by the defense with busted coverages. That's been the Achilles heel for us. And you know, the other night we fumbled a punt return. They gave them the ball and allowed on the short field, allowed them to score their first touchdown. Then we had a deflected pass get intercepted. That also, I think, allowed them a chance to convert points. And then right before halftime, of course, we're driving in to score, and we throw another interception, you know, right before halftime. And then defensively, we give up an 81-yard touchdown on a busted coverage, you know, miscommunication between the safety and the cornerback. So it's really been those type things. You know, teams aren't really driving the ball against us. They aren't really stopping us when we have the ball on offense. It's just self-inflicted wounds, you know, turnovers, and then again, busted coverages by the defense. So we can find a way to eliminate those type things. You know, I think we're a few of those plays away from sitting here going to the Texas Southern game, you know, playing for the chance of playing the SWAC championship. But instead, you know, we made those mistakes, and now we're going to the game to try to finish the season with a winning record, you know, in a winning conference record.
Well, I know you looked at me somewhat crazy when I made the reference of how we need to approach the Incarnate Word game and the Texas Southern game. And initially I said, let this be like our AFC or NFC championship, that game with Incarnate Word, and then Texas Southern would be our Super Bowl. And then I referred to you in the terms of the SWAC challenge, or not the SWAC challenge, but the SWAC championship going to the Celebration Bowl. And you looked at me kind of sideways, but you knew what I was talking about, right, Coach?
Of course I did.
So now you have Incarnate Word, as they say, water under the bridge. It was duly noted as well that you're trying to set up a home and home with them, where they'll come to the confines of Panthers Stadium. Has that been solidified yet?
It has not. Our athletic director, Mr. Ashley Robinson, is still in talks with their athletic director. Likely won't happen next year because we have our schedule set for next season already. So maybe down the line they'll return the favor and come to Panther Stadium. But it was good to get a road win against a Southland team. I think that does a lot for our program as far as our you know, national prestige and our ability to recruit in the state of Texas. You know, that we do have the ability to play with teams within that conference.
Now, before I go a little bit further with this Southland Conference, I got to go back. Are you at liberty to let me know who the non-conference games are going to be next year?
Well, of course, you know, we're going to Sam Houston. So we have a home with them. The first game, of course, is Rice. We're playing Rice in week 0 down in Rice Stadium. And then the SWAC MEAC Challenge will be a member of the SWAC MEAC Challenge in Atlanta. We'll play North Carolina Central. So that'll be that'll start the season for us. So our first 3 games will be out of conference. And then I want to say we're playing Texas College week 5, but I'm not sure if that game has been solidified yet. But the 7-game conference schedule, and then the 4 out of conference games will be Rice, North Carolina Central, and the SWAC MEAC Challenge at Sam Houston, and then I think Texas College is the 4th one.
So, if I'm not mistaken, isn't the SWAC MEAC Challenge around the same time as the Labor Day Classic?
That's what. No, we're actually moving the Labor Day Classic to the Thanksgiving weekend again. So we'll play it just like this year. We'll play it Thanksgiving weekend.
Wow. Okay.
Don't quote me on that. I think that's in the works. So let me stop talking before I put him on top of that. I want to check with Dwayne and Mr. Robinson on that one.
Okay, then, no problem.
So there's been some talks about it. I'm not sure if it's been solidified yet, but there have been talks about it.
Well, that's okay. I mean, you know, time brings about a change, and that's the way it is. We're talking with Shotgun Willie Simmons, head football coach of the Prairie View A&M University Panthers. Panthers with a big Southland win. We'll get back to that Southland deal now. Now, you played 3 different schools from the Southland Conference, and my little anecdotic analysis, it was simply with this. You play against Sam Houston, who is the upper echelon. You scheduled Nichols State, who was one of those mid-rangers, and then you have Incarnate Word, who was the less favorable opponent. You schedule Incarnate Word, who is still building a program, so if there were, lack of a better word, the lesser of the 3 evils. Now, I have my premonition. Is this a gauge to see where you measured up and down throughout that Southland Conference while you scheduled those three particular opponents? Although Nicholls State was a surprise to everybody, I even think even to Nicholls State, they were surprised in how they ended up with their season this year.
Well, I don't think we went into it with that premise to say, okay, let's schedule a top-tier team, a mid-level team, and a lower-tier team. I think we picked three teams out of the conference that we felt were good games for us. Of course, Sam Houston, proximity-wise, is a good game because it's we're less than an hour from each other. So logistically, it makes a lot of sense for us to play that type of game. Even though, again, they're a nationally ranked team, a national power. We want to gauge ourselves up against those type of opponents, and we didn't have a quote-unquote guarantee game this year against an FBS opponent. So that was the closest thing to that. Again, Nicholls was a game that we found an opponent in that conference that was willing to do a home-and-home with us. They'll return the favor and come to Panthers Stadium in 2019. And so that was, Louisiana's a state that we want to recruit. So for us to get down into that state and be able to play a game down in that part of Louisiana where it's a hotbed made a lot of sense for us. And, of course, they do a lot of recruiting out of Texas as well. So we felt it was a win-win for both parties involved. And then Incarnate Word, again, we're trying to get into San Antonio more recruiting. And so we want to find games in areas that allow us to increase our brand recognition. Of course, like I said, in the Houston area, Sam Houston, if we can find a way to beat a team of that caliber, I mean, it does wonders for our university and for our brand name. Even in the game we played against them early in the year, just a good showing that we had, I think did a lot for Prairie View. Again, to get into Louisiana and play against a team such as Nicholls State, who has a lot of history and tradition down in that part of that region, I think does wonders for this program. And then to get into San Antonio, they have the chance to really get our San Antonio chapter involved. That they did a good job of showing up yesterday, and to be able to come down here and get a win. After signing some really good players out of this area last year, Zach Elder, our kicker, Danny Garza, our starting right guard, two true freshmen out of San Antonio that we signed that are starting for us. I think will definitely help us in the future when we come into these high schools trying to recruit potential student athletes.
Zach Elder is simply on fire. He was a 6 for 6 on PATs. I don't want to call it out because you say I have a tendency to want to jinx people, but he's had a pretty good streak. You're laughing, Coach, because you think I'm a bad luck seed or something, man, but I won't even talk about that. Talking right now with Coach Shotgun Willie Simmons. Panthers in position now to finish with their third consecutive winning season with a win over Texas Southern. That has not happened since the 2008 through 2009-10 season under Coach Henry Frazier. Coach, that's got to be a mild achievement that you can put on your notch for your belts and say, we were able to create ourselves and rise a sort of awareness for the program, which was why you were initially brought here to Prairie View.
Well, that's something, again, that we've talked to the team about after the loss to Southern. Of course, whenever you start the season, you have your different priorities and your goals that you try to achieve. And, after a couple of losses, you have to go in and reprioritize those goals. And after a couple more losses, same thing. So once we got the fifth loss against Southern, at that point, our goal shifted to, okay, we have to finish with a winning season. Again, with this program to continue to move in the direction that we wanted to move in, to get us over that hump, to become a championship contender year in and year out. We have to continue to move in the right direction. And for us, finishing with a winning record, finishing 3-0 against Texas Southern, our crosstown rival, again, would do wonders for our program in the direction we're trying to move into. And so it's a huge game for us for so many reasons. None greater than the fact that it's Texas Southern. And so I don't think I have a hard time getting our players motivated this week. There'll be a lot of excitement throughout the university, throughout the Panther community about this game. And, we're excited to get back to work to try to put together a great game and send these seniors off the right way and allow them to be able to say that they finished their last three seasons by beating up on Texas Southern.
Well, my initial thought and comments on our post-game show, the 1876, we affectionately call it the after party, was that with you winning the way you won over Incarnate Word, it really prompt a vested interest in this Texas Southern game again, at least for majority of the people that I come in contact with, because it now has some stake at value, if that makes any sense. We know we're playing Texas Southern. You can get up for tiddlywinks when it comes to Texas Southern, but what better way to complete and put an accent on your season with a win over Texas Southern to solidify you with a winning record with 6-5, and a lot of people forget that on the FBS level, you qualify for bowls with 6 wins. So that is not anything just to wink at. And what better way to get it done than taking care of Texas Southern?
No question about it. And I think it's worked itself out to be a very climactic end of the season. With everything that happened with Hurricane Harvey and the way the season has gone. I think it can definitely bring the Panther Nation together, to be able to go into their backyard in Houston at BBVA Stadium and pull off a win against Texas Southern. I think it'll set the tone for the rest of the fall sports. Basketball season's picked up now, and of course, track and field is starting to come around, baseball season. So again, usually it's the first game of the season, and we kind of try to use that game to set the tone for the entire year. But now that it's the last game of the season, we want to be able to try to ride the momentum into the rest of the athletic season, And so, again, it's a huge game for us. I can't stress the importance of it enough for myself personally, for this football team, for this university, for the entire Prairie View Nation. So I have no doubt in my mind that we'll show up. Panther Nation will show up in full effect at BBVA and give us a great home field advantage. I'm going to say it, give us a home field advantage. And we expect our guys to go out and play a very spirited game and represent Prairie and them in the best possible way. And that's by playing a great, clean football game. And again, winning the game that most of us circle on our calendars at the beginning of every year.
We're talking with Shotgun Willie Simmons. And, Coach, I want to revisit, although I know it's not official, but it is in the works right now. Do you think that there would be a risk of tampering with the attendance flow? I know that's been a concern for you, making sure that everybody that possibly can come out to these games, and particularly your rival game, that of Texas Southern. Do you think it really makes a difference is at the beginning of the season where there's a lot of unknowns, or the risk factor of playing it at the end as it was forced to do the Hurricane Harvey, and potentially going to be the case with the acceptance of the MEAC SWAC Challenge for 2018? Do you think there's a risk of wavering attendance for that game in particular?
Well, I'll say this, Mike, and I'll say this boldly. For this program to get to the level that we all in Prairie View land wanted to get to, it shouldn't matter if we played the first game, second game, 8th game, or the 11th game. In a rival game, you show up at the end of the day. That's any great program. Those marquee games, people show up. When I grew up, I grew up in the backyard of Tallahassee and Florida State. It didn't matter if both teams were 9, 11-1, 11-0 going to that game, or if they were 0-11. People were showing up. Florida A&M, Bethune-Cookman, same thing. All those years that Bethune was down and FAMU were winning championships, the Florida Classic was always one of the most attended games. Then I go on to college and play at Clemson. Our first year at Clemson, I think we were 6-5 going into the game. South Carolina was 0-11 going into the game. And we played them in South Carolina, and the stadium was packed because that was the game. At the end of the year, at the end of the day, Clemson, South Carolina was the game. And no matter how many games South Carolina had lost, if they can find a way to beat Clemson, that's all that matters to them. So they were going to show up. And again, you look at Alabama State, Alabama A&M. They had 60,000 people this year, and neither team had won more than 2 or 3 games at that point. Now there's a lot ride on the Bayou Classic this weekend. Next weekend they'll be playing for the chance to go to the championship game. But again, I expect 50 or 60,000 at that game. So we have to understand that in order for our program to get to the level that we aspire for it to be, where we're a national name or brand name, we have to show up to those games. And so most rival games are played the last week of the season for that very reason. But whether it's the first game or the last game, I fully expect Panther Stadium, which is where the game will be next year, to be sold out. It's standing room only when Texas Southern rolls into town.
Well, you heard it straight, as they say, from the captain's mouth. They normally say the horse, but we'll say captain in this case, that regardless if it's the first, last, in between, a rival game is a rival game. And, yes, it does bring some hype to the middle. Either you play that rival game at the last game of the season or even on homecoming for some fact, because those would make some great venues too. But I do understand in the case that we have, you want to maximize every opportunity for seats, because seats, let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen, it does, people in the seats does equal a positive bottom line. So let's not get it twisted. We play to win the games, but we win both on the field and at the bank when people come and attend these games.
No question about it, and that's again, we're building the program, and that's wins on the field. But like you said, it's also attendance at the games, and again, for us to get to that level. I want Prairie View to be the school that every year is compete for championships, but I also want Prairie View to be the school that every year is leading the conference and leading the country in attendance. That's something that we can get to. We have to just make that commitment. Just like as a head coach, I'm trying to make a commitment to bringing the best student athletes in that can play the game of football to win games and graduate. We have to make a commitment to show up to games and support these young men. And so, again, it goes twofold. And I'm going to do my part, try my best to do my part, and I fully expect Panther Nation to get behind this program, do their part by, again, showing up this weekend to BBVA Conference Stadium to support the Panthers, and also in the future, as we go into the off season, have signing day events and different things like that, where we're inviting our fans and alumni out to get an early sneak peek at, next season and things of that nature.
Absolutely. And, of course, we'll be here with the Open Mic Broadcast Network doing all we can while we can. It's a labor of love for us. We appreciate the accessibility that you have always made yourself available to us here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network, and we do not take it for granted. So I want to say thank you again while I got you here.
Oh, no problem, Mike. And again, we got another week of this, and look forward to the few more interviews we have and a chance to get together, brother. It's always fun.
Yes, sir. It is always fun. And, we could always do an off-season tracker. We don't have to wait just till football season gets going, and I would invite that wholeheartedly, but that has to be totally up to you, brother.
Well, you know how to reach me, brother.
All right, then. Well, let's consider that done. We're talking with Coach Shotgun Willie Simmons, the Panthers, trying to get things realigned, if you will, not only just on the field, but in the mode of tradition. And tradition is going to be tradition, and it starts with people buying into the total package, not just what feels good at the moment. And sometimes when you're making adjustments, it's all about making adjustments for the betterment of people. One thing I found out that when you push yourself, you find out you're capable of doing and achieving things that you didn't even know that you had inside of you. But you got to be open to change. And it sounds like that you guys are trying to implement some change in the very near future for Panthers football.
Well, again, I think, not that it's written in stone, but I think the SWAT MEAC Challenge will be a great opportunity for Prairie View A&M. And if we have the opportunity to get into that game, I think it only makes sense that we take advantage of it, which would, force us to move the Labor Day Classic game to Thanksgiving weekend like we're playing this year. So if we have the opportunity to be a nationally known seen game on the first football weekend of the season in Atlanta, I think that's a great opportunity. And then again, if it happens and we have to move the game, hopefully, we won't ruffle too many feathers and break too many traditions, and people will realize that it is a great opportunity for the school. And then it gives us a chance again to have a finale at the end of the regular season that we can look forward to and hopefully prepare ourselves for to go to Atlanta again in Celebration Bowl.
Yes, sir. Coach Shotgun Willie Simmons and the Panthers. Now, Coach, you are going to be embracing a new task during the off season, and I'm keeping a close eye on this one. You're probably saying, Mike, what are you about to say right now? But you those uniforms that Incarnate Word had on were hideous. They were absolutely hideous. They were a broadcaster's nightmare. I don't know, and I understand. And if you really want to be, not that you're asking, but in my own personal opinion, that is borderline cheating. Having
the black numbers on the gray.
Yeah, having all them old transitional type numbers on the uniforms. You don't want people to know who's on film. I get all that, but that's borderline cheating, and it's totally disrespectful to the people who have to bring the broadcast to those who are listening or attending, both on the television broadcast and the radio broadcast. The announcers were not able to make out some of the numbers on these guys. So I know that you're going to be into a new contract or a new uniform deal coming up. They say out with the old, in with the new. And I have a request as a broadcaster and as an alumni of Prairie View A&M University. Don't get too cute. I know that the guys like the new look, this, that, and the other. But, man, if you don't do anything, get some block numbers that everybody can see. They don't have to guess. And for Christ's sake, man, bring back the old gold. Please.
Well, again, Mike, we've talked about this time and time again, and that's something that's above my pay grade. What color gold we use is up to the administration, the administration. And so whatever they tell us to order, because every sport has to follow suit. So if it's old gold, we bring, but whatever it is, that's not a decision that I get to make. It's my job to design the uniform, and I can promise you that with purple and gold, we will stick to our traditional, as far as, numbers that you can see. It won't be some type of black on silver or whatever those, that's kind of how they did their uniforms, but we'll stay true to purple, gold, and white. And so, you'll be able to see the numbers. We'll be simple in our design. I think teams are getting back to simpler uniforms now without all the designs, and I like that. So we get to design the uniforms here in a couple of weeks. I look forward to doing that. But, yeah, I can promise you that it won't be a problem seeing and recognizing what our numbers are. And but, again, what color gold we use, again, that's not my discussion. I think that's more of a Dr. Willie Simmons and Mr. Lester Robinson discussion with that one, Big Brother.
Okay, well, Big Brother is going to be on assignment because I'm scheduled to interview Dr. Ruth Simmons here in the very near future, and I'll definitely bring it up, and I will. I'm going to bring that up, and of course, what I call him the big little man, athletic director Ashley Robinson. I will be sure to bend his ear as well. Just a simple request. I don't ask you for much, brother, but it's just good. And if you do happen to try to get cute, get a trim or some type of outline, at least in white, to go around whatever you're trying to accent. I know I'm old-fashioned, but I figured I could just ask that at least while I got you here.
Well, of course, I think that a lot of Southern does that. They either have light colors with light numbers that are hard to see, or you have, like Incarnate Word, dark. They had a gray uniform with black numbers with a red outline, which is extremely hard to see from far off. So I think, the trick is to, like you said, a light uniform needs whatever number, a light number or a light outline. You can't do dark on dark or light on light. But again, I'm more old school, even though I'm a relatively young head coach. I'm more old school. So again, you don't have to worry about that with us. We'll be a purple uniform, a white uniform, and probably a gold uniform once you get your wishes to determine what color gold we'll wear. and that'll be it. And again, but looking forward to the new Adidas deal and design those uniforms. And I think our student athletes will really benefit from this new Adidas apparel contract that we have.
Yes, sir. I'm counting on you, brother, big time. I'm counting on you big time. Coach Shotgun Willie Simmons and the Panthers, they're heading to Texas Southern to take on the Tigers November 25th, which will be the Saturday after the Thanksgiving week. And I guess we're going to have to start thinking of a new marketing name if this would be the new trend for the Panthers and the Tigers, and maybe even consider playing that joker on Thanksgiving Day. That's always a possibility, too.
Again, that's above me, brother. So I'm going to leave that to you.
Well, look, Coach, we appreciate you making yourself available. No need to tell the importance of this week's game coming up. As they say, the jaw-jacking will begin on Tuesday at the Power Center in Houston, South Post Oak. You get a chance. I don't know if you're going to bring any clocks and talk about time or anything like that this year. You and Haywood happen to kind of be a little reserved. But, and I did offer my services up to you guys. If you all need someone to rev some things up, I'm always a call away, and I don't have a problem taking some stabs and even taking one for the team, for the Texas Southern, and even for the Grambling event. I know you guys are a little uncomfortable with that, but trust me, I could handle that for you.
Well, again, we all realize that our teams have to do all the playing, so we can do the talking. But we got to make sure our teams are ready to play, and so
that's why you bring me. That's why you bring y'all focus on the X's and O's, and I come up with the jokes and the comebacks.
Right. Well, that's the deal.
Coach Shotgun Willie Simmons, man, give us your final words, my brother.
Just excited, about this opportunity, and grateful to be in this position, and looking forward to getting back to work with the team, giving them a couple of days off after a big win in San Antonio, and. But we'll get back to work on Sunday, preparing for Texas Southern. Looking forward to seeing Purple and Gold down at BBVA next week.
Absolutely. Coach Shotgun Willie Simmons and the Panthers, as we may mention, November 25th, will be in action at the BBVA Stadium for the grand finale of the 2017 campaign. Panthers with an opportunity of going 6-5 on the year, which would solidify 3 consecutive wins for the Panther, 3 consecutive winning seasons for the Panther under Shotgun Willie Simmons' leadership. Be sure to have your face in the place. You can still get your tickets. You can actually go online at pvpanthers.com/tickets and pick up your tickets on today. Not real sure what the pricing would be, but I'm pretty sure all that information would be available on the website. As always, we want to thank you guys so much for joining in with us here on the Mike Prince Show at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Remember to follow me on Twitter at Radio Guy. Instagram is Radio Guy 22. And, of course, the website is obnradio.com. Until the next time, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.